now reconvene to the regular meeting of the Board of Education at 7 p.m. with Blair, Cruz, Gagne, Schaefer, and not present. Before we begin, please silence all electronic devices. These proceedings are recorded and may capture images and sounds of those present at the meeting. Pat?
The board met in closed session from 3:51 to 6:35 p.m. regarding conference with legal counsel, existing and anticipated litigation, conference with legal counsel, real property negotiators, public employee discipline dismissal release, conference with labor negotiators, ACT and CSEA, and public employee performance evaluation superintendent. No action was taken, which requires public disclosure.
Leading the Pledge of Allegiance tonight is Alexi.
Please put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
And our presentation is Dr. Grace Park.
President Na, members of the board, Superintendent Enfield, Cabinet, and community. We have our sixth update to the board on our local control and accountability plan, also known as our LCAP. Our annual update to the board this evening will focus on the progress of LCAP Goal 2, which is tied to state priorities 3, 5, and 6. Dr. Johnson, our Director of Health Services, will review in part our actions and services to actualize Goal 2, followed by Yvette Farley, our Director of Access and Equity, who will share the actions and services specific to family engagement. And finally, Stephanie Johnson, our Director of Student Support Services, who will share our outcomes for student engagement and school climate.
Here is a highlight of the actions and services to actualize Goal 2, which is for students, parents, families, and staff to be connected and engaged to their schools to ensure student success. 355 students were served this year through case management at the Hope Resource Center for a variety of needs. 1,416 families accessed the care closet for items such as clothing, shoes, and toiletries. Through the Excel program out of the Hope Resource Center, 28 unaccompanied homeless youth received college and career counseling with assistance with applications for financial aid, for college applications, as well as career counseling. 79 homeless students received free tutoring with an average of 0.63% grade level increase and a 71% increase in their math grades. Our health clinic, we served 640 unduplicated patients. We provided 1,249 vaccines. There were 2,070 office visits, and at those office visits, parents completed surveys, and 88% rated us a score of 5 on a rating scale of 1 to 5. In terms of our accomplishments with the Attendance Counts campaign, Chino Valley Unified School District was designated 4 times for having a model school attendance review board. This was done by the state for improved attendance as well as a decrease in our dropout rate. District sites have requested 695 visits from the attendance home visit teams, and the teams have made 482 home visits this school year. In addition, the attendance team has held 119 SARD meetings to assist students with attendance. Foster youth, we have a designated counselor to support these youth in a variety of capacities. This counselor carries a caseload of 496 students, 44 students have benefited from free tutoring services this year, and there are currently 10 seniors pursuing higher education. So it's really exciting. Next one. Through the multi-tiered systems of support for behavior, MTSSB, 12 counselors have provided academic and behavioral counseling to 2,919 students through a classroom push-in model. The Tier 1 prevention services have become more fully implemented district-wide over the past 2 years, which has resulted in a decrease in the overall at-risk students for our elementary and our junior high schools. The K-12 counselors have begun to fine-tune these services to support students with more intensive behavioral needs. So these supports include providing individual behavior supports, developing systems of varied behavior interventions at the school site, and then they're also beginning to align all of the district services. 253 students needing more intensive supports were provided small group counseling, behavior plans, as well as in-class support to assist the students who have been receiving the counseling services to generalize the skills into the classroom setting. Our high schools are in the pilot year of Tier 1 of our positive behavior interventions and support, our PBIS efforts, and we are doing their first review this spring, and we'll be looking at their implementation. 20 district level trainings have been completed this school year, and these trainings include evidence-based practices composed of school-wide expectations and using data to support decision making and proactive communication to build a positive school culture. So we're also really proud of our 25 schools that have been recognized for the implementation of PBIS, which has increased the positive school climate. The Safe School Ambassadors Program is implemented at all elementary, junior high school, K-8, and 2 high schools. It's recommended by the California School Board Association and the CDE. And if you look on their website, it indicates that this program is promising in terms of practices to address school culture and student connectedness. It aims at teaching students to recognize and noticing bullying at school, and it mobilizes them to not just be bystanders. Professional development has been completed this year by the CIIS team to assist the administration in utilizing other means of correction in lieu of suspension and expulsion. So in the next part of the presentation, Yvette Farley will finish sharing the highlights of the actions, services, and outcomes related to engaging our families.
Continuing with the actions and services to engage our families, the Family Engagement Center hosted 107 parent academies and 37 staff trainings this school year. 1,189 parents attended trainings held by the center. New this year was support for our school community liaisons on how to increase and support family engagement and parent education at the school site. Elementary teacher professional development focused on providing parent education opportunities for parents to learn how to support their child at home in order to succeed at school. Also new this year was PBIS training to guide our parents in understanding and supporting the program at their school site. Carol Sweat and Brenda Froya have been instrumental and have done an excellent and outstanding job in supporting parents and staff with the training necessary to develop the skills and tools needed to increase engagement and have a positive impact on student academic success. 20 sites also employed bilingual clerks that assisted in the translations for meetings and communications. There are 3 measurable outcomes to measure our progress with the state priority 3. In box 1, CVUSD continues to support and involve parents in advisory bodies and training strategies by having each school site hold 4 or more school site council meetings and 4 or more English Learner Advisory Committee meetings. The district has held 4 district-level English Learner Advisory Committee meetings, and we anticipate that this goal will be met as indicated by the thumbs up. In box 2, to support building capacity in our parents, 100% of our sites have held at minimum 1 to 2 parent workshops addressing academic and social emotional learning. The district has met this goal as indicated by the thumbs up. We are striving for growth and progress over time, and so we share with you perception data from our most current parent survey about parent and family involvement. 82% of our parents agreed that families are informed about school-sponsored activities. 93% of our parents agreed that families are encouraged to attend school-sponsored activities, and 80% of our parents agreed that schools encourage families to volunteer. 86% of our parents agreed that staff members and families treat each other with respect. This is based on a parent participation of 4,859. That is an increase of 73 from last year. The district has met this goal as indicated by the thumbs up. Stephanie Johnson will now continue the presentation by reviewing the metrics for state priorities 5 and 6.
In the area of student engagement, which is state priority 5, there are 4 metrics to measure progress of student engagement. The district-wide attendance rate was 96.34%, surpassing the state average. The district met its goal, as reflected in the thumbs up, by staying ahead of the state average. Chronic absenteeism reflects the percent of students who are absent 10% of the school year at any given point during the year. This is the first year chronic absenteeism has been reported on the dashboard. 6.1% of students were reported as chronically absent. The district met its goal again, as reflected in the thumbs up, by maintaining a rate lower than the state average. Middle school and high school dropouts reflect the percent of lost transfers and not students who no longer attend school. 2016-17 is the most current data that is available. Both middle and high schools have met the district's goal by keeping the dropout rates below the state's average. County averages are available for dropout rates, and we are below the county percentage as well. To ensure we are doing everything we can to account for any lost transfers, a dropout prevention protocol has been developed and implemented, and we continue to review with administrators and office staff. Continuing with Goal 2, we will look at school climate, state priority 6. There are 2 metrics to measure our progress of school climate. We met our goal by staying under the state average for expulsion rates. The 0.03% expulsion rate also reflects a decrease since the 16-17 school year. County averages are not available for expulsion rates. In the area of suspensions, we are also lower than the state and county averages. Chino Valley Unified School District had a 1.7% suspension rate in the 2017-18 school year, which also reflects a decrease compared to the 16-17 school year. We have met our goal for suspension rates. And this completes our annual update to the Board of Education.
Do we have any questions? Mr. Cruz.
So, we noticed that we've had 1482 home visits, 119 SARB hearings. We also see that PBIS, you have a lot of schools being recognized. And, and all that is resulting in those positive changes that we're seeing with all that dropout rates, all those meeting the increase in attendance rate, decreased chronic absenteeism, dropout, in high school. All that is related to all that, huh? Right, yeah.
Yes, we're very fortunate in our district to have a great team of educators, classified staff, and district administrators who are committed and passionate about student success. So it really took a large number of people to put their work in that
And
contributed
Ms.
to
Johnson,
this.
those took a lot of work. Those SARB hearings and those home visits, those aren't simple things. You've dedicated yourself in helping our children in our community. So, it's a family that, we are,
Yes.
We are doing
And the
this.
SARBs are a group effort from all of the school staff.
yeah. And, how do you monitor PBIS? On that?
I'd be happy to talk about that. Under the vision of Dr. Enfield, when he was a deputy, building school connectedness and building a positive school culture was very important. And with that, he had Dr. Johnson really lead the effort in the PBIS implementation. So I'd like for Dr. Johnson to talk about that.
In terms of the implementation at the school site level, we have 3 times yearly what's called a tiered fidelity inventory walk. The first 2 are conducted purely by the school staff, which consists of the teachers, the admin. It's their PBIS team that's looking at their system and looking at the indicators in the classrooms, on the school campus. And then once a year, we have an external process, a tiered fidelity inventory with an external reviewer, which in our district, we've been fortunate because we have trained folks like myself that go in to assist the team. And again, though that team, even though there's an external reviewer, is composed of, again, teachers, sometimes classified individuals. We've had security officers part of that, or other classified employees. A nurse at one point was also on the TFI walk. And then we're going through each school and looking at indicators, which then helps that school plan for actions that they need to take for the following year to improve their implementation of PBIS.
Okay, Mr. Schaefer?
Thank you, first and foremost, for the presentation. And I have a couple of questions. I think it's on page 4. Kind of related to the MTSSB and PBIS. On the third point down, the 253 elementary and junior high students that were provided small group services. When you say 44% exit rate, and I apologize if you covered this and I missed it, what exactly is the exit rate? Did they just decide to leave the program? Did they finish the program?
No, those are the students who at this point, no, I didn't mention that this data was only through March 30th, so my apologies for that. But we're really, as of March 30th, 44% had met goals that were established for them at what we call our STEP meetings, which then refer them to the small group. Goals are set and monitored, progress monitored. So obviously, by the end of the school year, there'll be more students that will have exited after having met their goals.
And then, thank you for that. And then jumping down to the last point of the PBIS implementation for all K-12 schools. Is that complete implementation, or some of them just implemented at Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3?
We have schools at different levels because we did pilots. So we're hoping by the end of hopefully the next 2 or 3 years, all schools will be implemented. And there are 3 tiers. So this is quite a process, and it takes a lot of support, and so it's going to be a bit before we get to full implementation to Tier 3.
Would you say a majority of our sites are at Tier 1
Oh,
or
they're
Tier
all
2?
at Tier 1.
Okay.
We have 5 schools that are implementing Tier 2, another 13 schools that will be beginning their pilot of Tier 2 next school year. And the following year, the rest will come in to Tier 2. Tier 3 is much more complicated and clinical in nature, so we're going to be moving a little slowly to make sure we get the services in place and the fidelity of implementation there.
Okay, thank you for that. And then on Page 6. Question reference our school quality survey results. It looks like we had 4859 in the, as a number of respondents.
Yes.
I'm guesstimating that's maybe roughly 15% of our parents or guardians in the district. What are we doing to, and I know it's a great increase over the year before or the previous years, so I'm not knocking the number, but I just want to make sure that we're continuing the outreach program or some type of an outreach program to try to increase that number.
Yes, we'll continue to engage our community to ensure higher increases next year as well.
Okay, is that going out through individual school sites? Is it a district level effort?
There's actually a couple of ways the survey can be completed. When parents do register their children for school, they provide an email address or a contact number, and that information is entered into our Aries portal system. So we push out surveys through emails. We also have hard copies available at school sites, at back-to-school night, in the beginning of the year. All of our schools did a fantastic campaign in opening up their computer labs, having laptops available at parent-teacher conferences to make that available.
Great. Well, I applaud everyone for the increase because I know it's exponential over what it has been in the past. So thank you very much. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. And I have a comment. On page 3 about homeless youth, where we had 28 students are on track of graduating, and also we had 79 students who had been tutored. This is such a great thing that our school district is providing, and our staffs and our community members, Mrs. Sweat and her partner in crime there, and we have a community father who brought fathers to school with their children and having breakfast. It's called collaborations, and as a common sense says, we need to help those who need the most help, and I think those are our homeless population and our students there. So in the future, I'd like to maybe see some type of survey done with them, see what would be their immediate needs are, and it could be related to something with our school district or something that could be outside too, but it's good for us to know their immediate needs and where we can meet them in more readily basis. I'd just like to thank our best staffs in the state of California, Stephanie too, who loves children and really standing up for the kids, and Dr. Johnson and Yvette Foley, and just thank you for what you're doing, providing services for our kids. And truly, we say this because they represent our next generation. So thank you for doing that. Yes, we do like to see all of our kids go to Harvard and Yale, but more than that, we want them to be a great citizen first, a decent human being, and you guys are in the front line along with our lovely teachers and principals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, did my light not turn on?
No. Okay.
Or why is it lighting up as Schaefer?
I don't know. So,
I yield my time.
Mr. Schaefer, you yield your time. Ms. Blair.
Page 3, the unaccompanied homeless youth, how many do we have enrolled this past school year?
About 2,700.
The 10 that are pursuing higher education, I love that. And I know that some may think that that number is low, but it used to be we had none that were interested in pursuing higher education. So this is significant. You know, it shows the commitment that each of you, along with teachers and other staff, have made for our foster youth. I do have a question, and maybe you can just email it. The PSAT is something that now we offer, you know, at the 10th grade level to all students. Have we always offered that?
We offer it from 8th through the 10th grades for free of cost to all students.
And I think that that is something we need to follow up on the scores, because I know, at least for myself, when my son saw his scores and then on the bottom it says, you are on track for college, preparedness and all that. I think that that is a really motivating factor. And so if there is some way for us to look at those scores and tap into the students who are college ready, and then maybe those that fell just a little short, so that we can guide them, offer them counseling so that they are on track, so that we can see these numbers in all the areas increase. I think that it is a perfect tool to be used to increase college enrollment out of our district. So if that can be done. And then lastly, it was Ms. Johnson's page. The dropout prevention protocol, can you share a little bit about that? Because you said it's rolling out to all the schools, or has everyone been trained? You mentioned something about training regarding the dropout prevention protocol. Or has everyone been trained?
It was developed last year, and we have trained classified staff and administrators as well, so that we can catch our students when they do leave our schools. And just for clarity, these are not truly dropouts, but if a student leaves one of our Chino Valley schools and moves out of state, we need to be able to track where they went. If we're unable to track the location of their next school, that counts as a dropout. So in some cases, families for a variety of circumstances leave, and we lose communication with the families. And instances like that is where we would have a dropout. So there's a series of steps that we have created to minimize those dropouts.
Okay, so it's not dropouts within our district, it's those that move that we have to continue to follow through.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, that was it.
That's it? Okay, thank you.
Great work, thank you.
Now we have comments from our student representative, Alexi.
Hello and good evening, Board, Cabinet, and community. For the month of April, Ayala High School has put on their spring sports rally, which was themed Toy Story. Their last rally of the year is next week on April 26th. Ayala welcomed their incoming freshmen at their Future Bulldogs Night, and I would like to congratulate them on being recognized as a distinguished school. At Chino High School, we had our Silver Spurs Award ceremony to honor outstanding cowboys and cowgirls. We also recently held our last blood drive of the school year, and tonight is our Power 106 game versus Chino High School staff. Next week, we will have our college signing day and the last academic rally of the school year. In the last month at Chino Hills High School, they have had their basketball team win CIF state playoffs, beating James Logan High School. Their dance team just won nationals, and they recently had their last rally of the year on April 12th. Don Lugo High School planned an Easter egg hunt for the community. They have been working on promoting their prom by having a prom fashion show. Don Lugo High School ASB students participated in the Meet the Pros event at the California Association of Student Leaders Leadership Conference and are now preparing for their college sign day and last rally of the school year. I am proud to announce and would like to congratulate Ayala High School, Chino Hills High School, and Don Lugo High School on receiving the Outstanding Leadership Program Award at the California Association of Student Leaders Leadership Conference, an award awarded to schools in California whose student leadership programs are proven spaces where student leaders can grow as ethical, responsible, servant-minded architects of change. Thank you.
Awesome report, Alexi. We're now at comments from employee representatives. We don't have Brenda Walker tonight? Yes. Then Danny Hernandez, no comments. Tom Mackesy from CHAMP.
Since Brenda and Danny aren't saying anything, I'll take all the time for both of them.
Yes.
Because I usually won't, but this is we've got a lot of things to go over and say. My name's Tom Maxey. I'm, as of last Monday, I'm the new president of CHAMP. And so President Na, Board, Dr. Enfield, and Cabinet and families. Good to see you all tonight. We've got a couple things that we want to go over. Last Monday, several of us, including Dr. Enfield, went to the AXA Awards dinners, and we had two young ladies who won scholarships from AXA, and so we asked them to be here. And first, we'd like to ask Valeria Montes to come on up with her family. And I'll just talk a little, stand right here, and I want to talk a little bit about you. In fall of 2015, Valeria began her high school experience. Full of promise, her goal was to graduate in the top 10 of her senior class. She finished her first semester of 9th grade with a 4.0 GPA. By the end of her freshman year, she was failing all classes, unable to attend school due to a traumatic head injury from a bicycle accident. And so began hours of collaboration with numerous educators in various fields to help rehabilitate Valeria and help her guide her back to discover her new normal. During the course of her discovery of the diagnosis of her injury, which did numerous doctor's appointments and student success teams have been held, these teams consist of, our student success teams consist of school counselor, psychologist, all classroom teachers, school nurse, administration, parent who is only Spanish speaking, student, and an interpreter. Her declining grades led her to be academically assessed to determine if special education services were needed. Valeria did not qualify, so a 504 plan was recommended to help her with accommodations in school. Throughout her 10th and 11th grade years, Valeria was diagnosed with traumatic and is still recovering from traumatic brain injury and severe vertigo. At this time of her academic career, the school team recommended alternative education at the independent study. The alternative education team consists of the home counselor, alternative education counselor, and director, independent study teacher, parent, and student. They devised a plan to help Valeria recover the credits needed to get back on track with her class of 2019. Valeria shared with her counselors that she missed being around her peers. So our alternative education team recommended for Valeria to transfer to Buena Vista High School. At Buena Vista, Valeria could accelerate her credit recovery process while being around other students. The duration of Valeria's 11th grade and summer leading into her senior year this year, she recovered most of her credits, enough to return to her home high school, Chino High. Not only did she earn the required credits to return to home school, she was a 4.0 student at Buena Vista, earning Student of the Month awards and beginning her career goal by attending classes through the regional occupation program in the field of medicine. Upon return to her Chino High School, Valeria was determined to become college ready. With that, she returned to the AVID program, enrolled in RP for more classes, and has a full schedule of 6 core classes, which are A to G approved. Chino Valley has provided many resources to help Valeria reach her potential and aspirations despite the challenges that were clearly evident. All of the changes in Valeria's academic plans were helped build her confidence and determination to return to Chino High School. Additionally, Valeria has applied to several California universities. Valeria has learned to become resourceful and has reached out to programs such as AVID to help her become a first generation to attend college. Valeria is such an incredible young lady who has also mastered self-advocacy. She is resilient, determined, and will stop at nothing to achieve her goals. And we are so proud of her.
I just wanted to go ahead and say thank you to everyone involved in the Chino Valley Unified School District. Everybody from my counselor to everybody at the schools that I went to, they all individually have helped me, and not only individually but as a family. I've gone through many programs. Independent study, that didn't work out. They were very, very helpful, but under my situation, I would get like migraines and headaches and stuff due to like virtual, like the computers. And so when they introduced me to Buena Vista Continuation School, they are honestly amazing. Like, I just wanted to point that out. Buena Vista, there's no words for them. They really helped me out a lot individually. Like the teachers, the staff, everybody, like we work as a team. Whenever anybody needs help, the teachers are very encouraging and they're willing to give you all the time there. The recovery program is amazing. Basically, within one semester, when you can get 30 credits, you can get up to, well, as a total, instead of getting 60 credits within 1 year, we can get up to 120 credits, which helped me out a lot because I honestly didn't think I was going to be on track to graduate. And with Buena Vista, they honestly helped me a lot. It was the best program I've ever been to, and they were just incredibly helpful. But not only just the school, as I said, everyone in the district, my counselor, everybody had an amazing effort in my situation, and especially my family. They were there with me every step of the way, my friends. Shout out to Alexa Magallanes. She was always there for me. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody in the Chino Valley Unified School District.
I just wanted to mention that Valeria was the recipient of the Every Student Succeeding Award. She also received a $1,000 scholarship, and she will be representing our district at the state level. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that information. So thank you. I think she's a perfect candidate to represent our district and all the programs that we offer.
Okay.
You know, you're always president, no matter what, right? Just kidding. The second student that we have is, who also got a scholarship from AXA, is Alexis Buss, and I'd like to ask her and her parents to come on up. Steve, you got to come up. So I'll say a little bit about Alexis. She is also a senior at Chino High School. So we had two Chino students, Chino High School students who got these awards from AXA this year. She's been accepted to the following college. I don't know if you've decided which one yet. San Jose State. Okay, good. And she has, okay, that's what it says, to study forensic science. Alexis was diagnosed with leukemia as a child. Due to her illness, she was not allowed to be near many kids and missed out on tons of events. She saw cancer take the lives of many children, and so she decided to live her life to the fullest. She loves trying new things. She is in drama, joined the swim team, water polo, and choir. Through the years, she has witnessed multiple friends lose their battle to cancer. She started fundraising for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society because it made her sad to see families lose their loved ones. She has raised over $40,000 in time. She has been involved in numerous campaigns, both as a fundraiser and as an honored hero. She has numerous opportunities for public speaking. Through her opportunities to attend Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times, she learned how to be herself, how to trust, and how to be a leader. She learned how to speak up and advocate for herself. Due to the chemotherapy treatment, Alexis has had some learning disabilities. She has a 504 to assist her in school, and she advocates for herself when it comes to education. In Alexis's words, cancer has given her a better understanding about the importance of family. It has taught me about human kindness. I have learned perseverance, which will help in college, and with my goal of becoming a forensic scientist. Cancer is a horrible disease, but I have found positive ways on how it impacted my life. So, do you want to say it?
All I would like to say is thank you for everyone in the district, especially for my counselors and my parents and teachers.
And she also got $1,000 from AXA. So the last thing I wanted to ask two more people to come up, and that is Emily Lau and Barbara Bearden to talk about, they went to Ledge Action Day a little while ago, and they have some things that they found out and some things they want to tell the board and the cabinet and the community.
Boy, congratulations again, ladies. This is why we're here, right? It's inspiring. Good evening, President Na, board members, Dr. Enfield, cabinet, and community members. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share an exciting experience we were provided in attending Legislative Action Day at our state capitol in Sacramento with the Association of California School Administrators. We were among over 400 school administrators from all over California, united together to advocate for our students.
As members of AXA, we focused on sharing our stories to key legislators with a focus on 3 key areas: local control funding formula, special education, and social emotional health. While meeting with these legislators or their staffers, we shared our stories from our sites addressing how funding could help our students. We stressed the importance for senators to support additional funding for our schools to match those top 10 states in funding.
With the rise in students requiring special education services, we urge them to increase funding for special education and programs so the general funds would not be affected. Additionally, we were able to express the importance of funding support for social and emotional health. Research was shared, revealing a 104% increase in children facing mental health needs. Additional funds would allow our schools to be proactive rather than reactive.
The weekend also included a speaker series offering sessions from a variety of presenters ranging from the California Department of Education to Assembly and state education staffers, as well as Governor Newsom's administration and Department of Finance. These presenters discussed their current work and provided opportunities for us to ask questions about their areas of expertise.
For example, the California Department of Education had 2 directors present about the California Dashboard and the California Systems of Support. Ms. Cazanes reported that the Department of Education is working on increasing the functionality of the dashboard and has recently added the 5-year graduation rate. They are looking into whether schools should receive credit for the 5-year graduates because they are currently considered dropouts.
The California Department of Education is also working to align the single plan for student achievement with the LCAP. Ms. Gregson reported that the county offices are working to reorganize in order to provide better support for the schools. Besides meeting with senators, assembly members, and officials from the California Department of Education, attending Legislative Action Day provided an opportunity to network with administrators from San Bernardino County and throughout the state. Thank you again for your time.
And I think that's more than enough time for you to take, so thank you very much for your time, everyone.
Thank you.
And we're so proud of you girls that, and Chino High is, rising star. That's so fantastic.
Thank you. We're now at community liaisons, and we have a special guest from San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Mars Serna, and he also wears another hat. He's a school board member at Fontana Unified. Welcome.
Thank you. So good evening, President Na, Superintendent Enfield, members of the board, cabinet, and members of the community, and those watching probably at home right now or later on their computers, right? Because you do televise your meetings here. It's an honor to be here representing San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, along with my colleague, Marissa, who is passing out. She's going to pass out a historical context around family and community engagement. So I've noticed that today in your LCAP report, you did speak around family and community engagement and the importance that that has in this community, along which I do see here on your board goals is it's goal number 2. So that's an amazing thing, and I can see and I can witness that there are amazing things happening here in this district. Based on that report, seeing that you're below or above, depending on the average, on every metric, you guys are doing an awesome job as a board, and superintendent and cabinet and staff are all working together. So I'm going to let Marissa right now, she's going to talk a little bit about the historical context that you just received, and then I'll be back on this microphone.
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent, Board President, and members of the board, and the community here present. So it's really an honor to be here in front of you talking about the the amazing leadership Chino Valley has done throughout the years, of course, through the leadership of the staff and including all of the Parent Center staff. But I'm going to focus a little bit on the leadership that Carol Sweat has done in representation of Chino Valley as it has led in the work of Family School Community Partnership. So I met Carol back in 2006 when I started in the county, and she had just been, I think, a year doing the Family School Community Partnership here in the district. One of the many hats Carol wore at the time. But in my seek to understand Family School Community Partnership, I reached out to Johns Hopkins University, Dr. Joyce Epstein, who's a very recognized national and international researcher on family engagement. And she pointed out that I needed to look locally into the expertise of a staff that was creating marvelous work around the partnership work. And so she pointed out Carol Sweat. And I called my wonderful Carol Sweat at the time, introduced myself, and I quickly learned that she had made amazing work of this promising practices, which she made them come to life, which you have in front of you in the first page. I'm going to point out just two great works that she has made seem so simple, where in other areas, other districts, it has become a challenge. One of them is Dr. Epstein talks about the power of having a team, an action team that focuses on the work around family and school community partnership, as we had seen earlier in the LCAP update. So in 2005, Carol started with developing 17 action team for partnerships at 17 school sites. And even though that may seem, well, it's a good number, the average usual school district can start developing an action team around the district. It's about 3 to 4 action teams in the school sites. So Carol, within the first year, she developed 17 partnership schools, and up to date, she has now 30 schools participating in the Johns Hopkins Action Team for Partnership model, which gives you feedback and data so you know where you have been and how you can continue to grow your programs. One of the key components about that work, as you can see in page 2 and in page 3, is that it's directly linked to the plan that the district has. In our case, the Local Control Accountability Plan, and at the school site level into the SIPSAs. But most importantly, it's the work that really we can see in the community, and we can see and hear in the testimonies of families that can come up here and talk about how they are part of their kids' journey. So I want to highlight one of the things that Carol has really modeled for us in our county, and I really thank Chino Valley for their leadership and being so flexible to allow us to learn as well from Carol as she attends our Family Engagement Network meetings and our professional development at the county level. She has put together the dual capacity framework, which we know and we recognize that is so important, not only to empower the families in the community on how to engage parents, how to engage community partners, nonprofits into the work that we do in school, but also how to train and build a capacity on staff on how to engage parents, because we know we all come from different walks of life. So Carol has made it seem so easy. However, we know that this has been years worth of work where she has been able to develop systems in which parents and staff are working collaboratively, and as we saw in the LCAP update. So I'm going to turn it back to my colleague who's going to continue to talk a little bit about the work that has impacted not only our county but the state through Carol Sweat's work in Chino Valley's model for partnership.
Thank you, Marissa. So as you can see, behind us here today are numerous amounts of individuals that Carol Sweat and Brenda Froyer have engaged. I know Tony, I think, well, President Na, you talked about fatherhood engagement, and I know Tony's standing right behind me with his awesome-looking son here, looking sharp in this uniform. But you know that this community has been embraced so much by Carol, and so many of these people are here to support her. And so sometimes we have to keep things from her. And so now that we've given you this wonderful presentation around Goal 3 and Goal 2 of your district goal, we've all come together. I don't know if you all know that she's retiring. So because she's retiring, and she walks with a cane right now, so I'm going to have her come up, and we're going to give her this timeless piece, a clock, that says retirement, And it says, "This is to celebrate the time that you have given to service to students and families and all that is yet to come." Carol Sweat, given this day on April 18, 2019. So on behalf of the County of San Bernardino, Superintendent of Schools, our family engagement team, 32 school districts, because we can include Chino Valley as a 33rd, but 32 school districts in this county, she has mentored, coached, and served every one of us in some way and somehow. And so you are losing a gem here, I want you to know. I know that there's probably a succession plan that you as a board have to come together and figure out, and the cabinet has to figure out, because you have to replace this beautiful young lady. And it's not going to be easy. Absolutely. So, Carol, on behalf of all of us standing here behind you, and those that you have helped in front of us, we want to thank you for your years of service on behalf of County Food.
Okay, so does that mean I have to talk now? Yeah. You know how retirement is. You get a knee injury and then you get retired, right? So, thank you so much, Mars and Marissa. These are my partners in the county level, and we even have some of our partners, Susan Petrocelli, who is from Chaffey Unified. It's overwhelming to be honored like this. I thank you so much. And I hope as the board looks through the materials we gave you, that you will continue to expand the Family Engagement Center, the work between school and home and community. And that's how you can honor me, by expanding and continuing to support families. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So this was a surprise for her, but thank you again for the opportunity. We appreciate the work that you're doing for your students and continue to serve in a great way. And Lexi, you're a magnificent student leader, as I can see. So thank you for being a part of this board. And I'm sure you're exiting this year, and you're going to be selecting a new student to serve next year. But thank you for your mentorship to all the students as well. And to all the staff, we appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time and your leadership in family school community partnerships.
Mr. Schaefer?
First, I'd like to thank Mars and Marissa for putting this information together for us. What it does is just reinforces what we all already know, that, Carol, you're irreplaceable. Congratulations on your retirement.
And I make a comment too. It was a few months ago, as I was driving my car, there was a commercial from the radio station, and it simply said, "For whom is your heart beating for today?" For whom? I'll say it's for Valeria, Alexi, and Carol Sweat, all these nice people. That's why we're living here. This life, I believe, could be a basket of memories. And we plant flowers in our baskets. And our youth means everything for us. And thank you, Caroline, for your great leadership and your kindness and your love. And it's spread here in our school district because of you and your husband's hard work. Thank you. Thank you. We're now comments from audience on items not on the agenda. Pat, are there any speakers?
One request to speak.
Speakers will be called in the order the request was received. Please listen for your name and be prepared to approach the podium. Any comments on agenda items will be accepted during consideration of that item. Once the board has commenced deliberation on the issue, speaker cards will not be accepted. The board is very interested in your comments, but please bear in mind the board typically does not respond to your comments during this time on the agenda, as it is received specifically for public comments. Individual members may respond during board comments at the end. Mr. Cruz, will you please explain the light system?
Speakers, you have 3 minutes. Begin when the comments green light. The yellow light means you have 30 seconds left. Red light means stop. Audience members, please refrain from making comments while speakers are at the podium.
The first speaker is Peter Atwood.
Good evening. Well, I was listening to the story of the young lady with the traumatic brain injury, Valerie, and I was reminded of an article Alexander Solzhenitsyn mentioned in a Soviet scientific journal about how some prisoners found a 20,000-year-old salamander and fell upon it and ate it with relish. And the thing he pointed out, the thing that nobody sort of noticed was there anything relevant about those prisoners that would want to make them fall upon a 20,000-year-old salamander and eat it with relish? And in the same way, I heard this discussion, and I heard the continuation school helped her out. All kinds of other people helped her out. Here's who didn't help her out. The special ed department saw that she had a traumatic brain injury, which is one of the 13 qualifying disabilities. They saw that this was interfering with her education. She went from a 4.0 to all failing grades and had lots of problems ever since. And they managed to find that she did not qualify for special education and related services. So here's one crowd in the Chino Valley Unified School District that for sure didn't want to do anything for that young lady. Fortunately, there were other people in the district who did. But the special education department in this particular thing certainly certainly stood out, didn't it? And the amazing thing is that Mr. Mackesy could recount all this with pride, shamelessly mentioning that they actually didn't qualify her when she obviously was qualified. And this is what they do all the time. I'll be serving a due process complaint this evening when I get home on the district about another kid that they've been ripping off very deliberately and intentionally, and been working hard to rip this kid off for the past couple of years. And there are so many others. And, there's all this concern expressed about suicide. You guys know that kids with learning disabilities are at a higher risk of suicide, and you don't want to do anything about it. So this is why I don't really want to hear much about the concern of the district's administration about suicide, because what the district can do is identify kids with specific learning disabilities and help them out instead of playing keep away. And the district special ed department is determined to keep on playing keep away. And I wonder if any of the 5 board members here think that any of this is a problem. In the past 10 years and a half, I haven't seen that happen. I've seen board members come and go. Third superintendent, still haven't seen any concern in doing any kind of justice or compassion toward these kids. And I would enjoy if I could be startled by something different happening after these 10 and a half years.
No further speakers.
We're now at changes and deletions. Pat?
The following change is on the agenda, item 2B3, Business Services, Donations, page 23, under Woodcrest Junior High School. Delete the donation from Southern California Edison Ice Machine, $3,200.
Thank you. We're now at consent. Pat, are there any speakers on consent items?
None.
Seeing none. Board members, do you have any polls? Mr. Cruz?
No polls.
Mrs. Blair?
No polls.
Mrs. Gagne?
No polls.
Mr. Schaefer?
No polls.
And I have none. For the consent items, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Blair, seconded by Mrs. Gagne. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Moving along with the information item now. Are there any questions? Seeing none. We're now at board members and superintendent comments. Mr. Schaefer.
Read fast.
I'm going to, because I have a lot to report out, so I will make this as quick as I can. First and foremost, I'd like to remind everybody of the special board meeting next week, the 25th, 5 p.m. here in the boardroom. It'll be, we'll be discussing issues surrounding the preserve, overcrowding at Calero, potential options that we might have to address that, and also talking about the second school and what looks like, what things might be on the horizon. As far as attendance at events over the week on April 5th, I was honored to attend the Career Day at Magnolia Junior High. They had a great turnout. They had a lot of different options for the students as far as career choices and career presentations. So I'd like to thank everyone that showed up and participated, especially the counselor over there. She's actually a long-term sub, and her name is Miss Diane, and I'm not sure of her last, Gillian, I believe. And she stepped up and took on the responsibility of putting the career day on for the students at Magnolia. So I want to thank her for taking that on. Also on April 5th, I attended a legislative roundtable with Assemblyman Freddie Rodriguez and his staff. We discussed educational issues, things surrounding LCFF and funding, special ed funding, and some issues with some charter school concerns that the districts around the in his district had. And there was members from 5 different districts represented, and so it was nice to hear from some of the other districts and things that are going on with them. And on April 7th, I was honored to attend the WASC Accreditation Committee reception for the Adult Education Center. They went through the WASC accreditation process, and so on April 6th was the reception for the committee, and then we returned on April 9th for a wrap-up interview meeting with the committee. So I'd like to thank Principal Carl Hampton and his entire staff. The staff and students came out in force for the accreditation reception, which is a fantastic thing. On April 8th, I attended the Baldy View ROP Student Success Award Ceremony. It was, we honored students from all of our high schools, and it was a great turnout. I'd like to thank Dr. Enfield and members of cabinet and the high school principals that attended. It was a nice event. On April 16th, I was able to attend the AVID coordinators meeting, and it was a meeting they do annually with all the AVID coordinators from the junior highs and high schools. The principals showed up as well, and it's kind of a roundtable. It gives them an opportunity to talk about some things that they're doing that has boosted participation or has helped the students within their programs. And so it was nice to see the collaboration going on to assist students in AVID programs across the district. And then on April 17th, I was invited to the We Remember event, which was held at Don Lugo High School. It was in honor of veterans, and so they had veterans come in the morning. They provided them with a light breakfast, and then everybody went into the gym, and they had tables set up. And all the juniors at the high school were able to interview and talk with veterans and get a perspective of what things were like for them when they were in the service and those that served in combat. It was part of their social science and history program, and so they will take the information they gathered there and put it into different, a variety of different assignments. And then lastly, as far as committee reports, not much from Baldy View. We're still talking about funding, and we do have a small gap in funding that we're looking at filling, hopefully with some grant money. And then secondarily, the Chino Hills Parks and Recreation Commission. For those that don't know, Dr. Infield, I believe it was a year or so ago, we had broke ground, or the city of Chino Hills broke ground on a piece of property adjacent to Chaparral Elementary. The school district owns that piece of property, and in a joint venture with the city of Chino Hills, the city is building a park on that parcel that will be utilized by the students there and then the neighborhood. That part of Chino Hills was in desperate need of a city park, and so I think it's a fantastic thing that the district was able to help out and provide the land. And one of the programs, or one of the things that the city's doing, is they gave all the students at Chaparral the opportunity to do some tile art. And there's about 400 or 500 of these that were done. The city gathered the artwork had it transferred to the tiles, and these tiles will be placed around the park at the different facilities around the park. And so there will be a ceremony, I believe, for this sometime in May. I will get the date out. And then the park itself is still on schedule for an October opening. With that, thank you very much for coming this evening. Have a good night.
Good report. Okay. Now, Mrs. Gagne.
Good evening. I've continued my school site visits. I had the pleasure this week of visiting Wickman Elementary, Chaparral, and our alternative education site. I have to say I was blown away yesterday when I went to Chaparral and a 5th grade class had built a robot and was doing things that college students have trouble doing. So through my school site visits, one of the things I've learned is that we're doing amazing things in this district with STEM education, and I think a lot of students are getting engaged who might not have been interested in the sciences but are developing a passion for it. I too attended the legislative roundtable with Assemblymember Rodriguez, and one of the things that I want to highlight that we also discussed, and this was an issue that other districts in the area are also facing, is mental health services for our K through 6 students. I think they're often an overlooked population in terms of facing a variety of issues, and so we were able to bring this to the Assembly members' attention, and I will continue to communicate issues as they come up to both the Assembly member as well as Senator Leyva. I am the liaison to the City of Chino City Council, and I just want to mention that next Wednesday, April 24th, the City of Chino is doing a pop-up City Hall in the Preserve community. So if you happen to live there or are concerned with what's going on there or happen to drive down Euclid to get to the 71, the City of Chino will be there answering community concerns. I too want to echo that we're having our meeting on April 25th to discuss the boundary issues. So should you have any questions or information you'd like to share, if you're not able to attend the meeting or feel more comfortable sharing it via email, please feel free to contact me prior to that meeting. And I think that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Cruz.
Yeah, I also attended the adult ed WASC. The whole community was supporting the adult ed, which was fantastic. So definitely they're going to pass for sure. I also attended the award at Disneyland, Ayala Distinguished as well as Canyon. I think there was a lot of districts, I don't know, I like to say a lot of schools, maybe over 200 schools that may have received the Distinguished Award, but it was maxed out. So that was a great experience. I also attended Eagle Canyon. NBC went to Eagle Canyon last week to interview a 4th grade student named Ramari with autism. And Ramari's teacher, Miss Mo, has a big heart and is in tune with the needs of all students and she has a gift for bringing students together for an incredible learning environment. And Ramari, such an adorable and outgoing. He's very articulative and heartwarming. It was a very lovely story. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Blair. No comments. Dr. Enfield.
No comments.
Okay, then I have a comment. I'd like to thank in the audience Mr. and Mrs. Warner. We're here. I know Ms. Warner is hiding somewhere because they wanted to be behind the podium. But congratulations, and her husband, an awesome man, and really dedicated servant for our students. Appreciate you, and you guys are truly an asset to our school district. Yes, I think I have met Mr. Schaefer almost like every other day during functions. Adult school, WASC, was an awesome experience. The commission had really felt the true dedication from, not only from the teachers, but students. Oh, wow, they were so happy with the teachers' crew there at adult school. Commission was blown away, they said. So thank you for all the teachers. As a matter of fact, there's one teacher, her name's Sharon. I can't recall her last name, but she's retiring, I think, next week. We are going to miss her, but she taught citizenship classes where Pet's husband had passed and got the citizenship from. Yeah, so we got awesome teachers in our school district and CAC staffs. Valley View ROP Awards Night. Each high school was represented from our school district. And I was really blessed to know at least one from each campus, and we had great time. And all these teachers, they were so passionate of their students. They were more happier than, I guess, the students. So it was an amazing experience to watch our teachers at ROP and students. Now, at California District Schools Awards Night at Disneyland, yes, I had great pride, but there was one lady from Canyon Hills Junior High School, and I presume she was a teacher or staff member, and she was extremely happy to see me. And she said, "Do you remember me?" And I couldn't really remember her. You know, I'm over 50 years old, I can't remember what happened yesterday. She said, "I was the one who was at Glen Mead and went through the cancer treatment. And many people had prayed for a long time, because I recall she had little children too, and single mom. But she was fully recovered, and she was now teaching at Canyon Hills Junior High School." So this is what I've learned. Throughout our life, good, bad, sad, or happy, there's no such thing as a disappointment, but only an appointment. So through that appointment, how we can treat that appointment in our lives, whether it's a trial, tribulations, it's on us to appreciate and thank for this life that we didn't deserve. We got it for free. None of us had worked for this life. We just got it for free. So thank you for attending tonight's meeting, and I close the meeting at 8:11.